Everyone, it's Jeannie from A1, and I'm going to finish up my Quilty Christmas homework, which means I'm in the middle of stitching out this block. I had to leave it because I had dinner plans, but now I'm ready to go ahead and finish it up. My machine said, would you like to resume? And I said yes. So now I'm just going to go ahead and hit start. And it looks like I'm about, I'd say, a quarter of the way through stitching the font here, the writing, and it's going to say A Quilty Little Christmas. So I'm just going to go ahead and let it stitch, and then after it's done with that, the last thing that it wants to stitch out is going to be the button. So I am actually on this page. Hang on. The button. So if you are not going to use the button, then you're going to stitch out the heart. There's a little heart right there, but I'm going to use the button. So I'm just going to finish stitching this out and then I'm done. And then we are going to, or I'm going to work on the borders. So let me see if I can go ahead and put the borders together. Where are my borders? almost done. We've got an M, an A, and an S. Okay, and let's talk about the borders, because I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this hoop, my 7x12 hoop, but I'm going to use a large piece of muslin. I have this big piece right here, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to hoop it and move my borders all the way to the left, so I'm just like keeping it just on the edge instead of cutting my piece and running it down the middle and wasting the sides, which I don't want to do. I'm just going to run it right down and just scoot it over to the left. And I think this will be long enough because 45 inches. I'm not going to pre-cut this. I'm going to lay this down on top. So I will do the placement for my 1-inch strips of batting, but I cut this to 1 1/8. I always cut it just a little bit longer. And then I'll place my batting, and then I'll just put this whole piece down. So I don't have to be careful with it. I'll just spray it, put it down. It'll do the tack down quilt. And I'm just going to leave it in one piece. And this will just hang over the edge. I'll quilt. We'll scoot it up. Quilt. Scoot it up. Quilt. That's the plan that's going on in my head right now. And I think it should work. I feel like every time I do my borders, it's like a new experience every single time. All right, so we're almost done with this. I'll also show you how to sew. I'll show you how to sew the button on with your machine if you've never done that before, which I really like doing. Let's see, how far apart are these buttonholes? Well, they're kind of far. I don't know if we can do it like this. Probably not. That's really far. But the other ones, I'm hoping we can. Looks good, doesn't it? And then maybe we'll do a couple blocks from, what is it? Sending holiday wishes? I don't know. We'll see if I have time for that. Said it, but I was reading comments on YouTube and they suggested I put quilts on my blocks that are kind of up above, and I was like, oh my god, that's a great idea, because if it gets folded under, you'll hear it. It would like rattle and stuff. Okay, last stitch out's gonna be the heart. I'm not doing it because I am gonna use the cutie patootie button that goes in it. So this block is done. Let's go ahead and hoop up, and we're gonna get ready to stitch out whoops, sorry. Let's see if I can tighten this arm up. Where is that loose that it's falling like that? I'm going to take this out. I'm going to use the same hoop, but now we're going to do the border, and hopefully I've thought it through and it's going to work. All right. I'm going to take this out, and I'm going to hoop up this big old piece of fabric that I have here. This will come over here. This is big, like way bigger, totally overkill. And I do have some fabric management, right? I had used this when I did the bicycles, and I did have a corner go under. So you're going to have to watch it. But I'm going to go ahead and do my borders and just run them down this left-hand side. Can you see? All right, I'm going to go ahead and slide this on the machine. I do have some, like I said, I have some fabric management over here, and on the bottom, I'll just go ahead and clip this. And I'm going to put this on the machine. All right, this is so nice. Patrick took the dog, so I don't have anyone jumping on me. I brought home some basil, which is a little darker than that, and I think that looks really pretty, but these all, I think these shades just kind of go together. This is like the same kind of color family, just a lighter shade. Oops. This one seems to not want to come off. Basil for my collection. I didn't have any basil. All right. Well, let's come on over and let's load our design. And I'm going to go home to clear my screen. Embroidery, pocket. And we are going to do, let's see what sizes they have. They're usually 7, 10, 12, 14. Quilty Christmas, background quilting. Here's border. They're usually the last things. Embroidery, PES, and I'm going to do the 12-inch because we can. Go ahead and set it. And let's choose our hoop size. So the hoop size I'm using is 7 by 12. It's already in there. And I'm going to take that and scoot it all the way to the left. So I'm going to go edit, move. You know, it's going to go outside of the field. See? Because I'm not in my layout page. This is the main edit page. The edit page is the page that has most of the editing options. So I'm going to go edit, move, let's center it again. And I'm going to say, I want to do 2 of these at a time. So I'm going to go edit to bring up my editing options and make a copy. And now I have 2 of these. Okay. They're going to combine them if I take it to the next page. And I don't want to do that because I'm not going to be able to move them individually. So I'm going to take this one. The red dots are around it. So I know that's what I'm working with. Center. And I'm going to scoot it. And I'm relying on the outline that you see on the page. And I'm going to not go outside of that outline. There we go. And I'm going to take this one. He's too low. It'll tell me I'm out. I need a larger hoop. So I'm just going to hit my center button, which centers it. And I'm going to scoot it over. And we'll just scoot it like that. I think that's going to be plenty of fabric. It tells us that it's 11.75 by almost 4 inches. And this right here, I'm going to put it over here, is 4.5 inches. So I think we should be good to go like that. Let's go ahead. I could scoot it over a little bit more. I'll go 3.5. .51, 3.49. I wonder if I should do that. I wonder if there's going to be, we'll just do it like that. That should be perfect. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and say, okay. I'm going to say embroidery, which will combine these 2 designs, meaning if I move, they'll both move at the same amount. They'll move. And let's go ahead and get started. And we can color group too. So we can go layout. They're not overlapping. So we can touch this button right here. And right now it's doing all the applique quilting, color group. Now it's doing all the applique and the quilting. So we don't have to change our colors out constantly. First thing it wants us to do is the placement stitch for the batting. So I'm going to go right here where I can go minus and plus stitches. and it's going to show me the placement stitch. I have my green in there from before, my pine green. I'm just going to leave that. And here are my batting pieces. I'm going to give these a little shot of spray. They're longer, so I'm going to go ahead and spray them in my special box, which just happens to be a, oh, what was that all about? I wonder what that was about, right? That didn't seem right. Hang on, I'm going to watch it this time. So it should go right to the next one. Did something get stuck? Did it get stuck on the table? No. Looks good. Okay, everything looks good. Oh, you know, I think it was hitting my thread. I have a thread box that's in the back that was in the way. Okay. In case you're wondering what this is, it's a spray box. And it's actually a box left over from a snap hoop. So when I have big pieces, I put them in here. Just because I need more room, right? You need more room. And my pieces, I'm not even sewing them together. Where's the other big ones? I have this, and is that it? So we'll spray these. And when I go to match them up, I'll just abut them. So I want to get my wrong side, which is the nubbier side, which is this one. I'm going to lay it down. And this one. I'm going to give it a little shot of spray. Here's my Ganol KK100. There we go. Oh, and I guess I probably shouldn't have sprayed the whole thing, right? Because we're only going to put down like 12 inches at a time, but that's okay. Here we go. I'm going to go ahead and just put it down here. Just like that. I'm going to grab my other piece, lay it down. And now we're going to take our background piece and just let this just hang over the front. Don't worry about it. I'm going to get my background piece of fabric. You want to spray probably around 12 inches, right? I do want it to kind of stick down, so I give it a little bit of extra spray. And make it go up and over the edge a little bit. And we're just going to cover both of these. I'm going to take a peek to see. Oops, sorry. I grabbed the batting too. And this way, oh look, I'm kind of far over on this side. Let me scoot it over just a little bit. There we go. Perfect. That looks great to me. So I had put them on my screen. They're 3.51 inches. From here to here is 3.51 inches. I'm just going to go ahead and smooth this down. And now we're going to skip some stitches. We're going to skip the batting tack down, the background placement. Oh, I'm sorry. That's another. See, there's two of them. So that's the batting tack down. That's the background placement. We're going to do the background tack down. It's going to sew on both sides. We don't have to worry about that fabric kind of getting pushed one way or the other because we have that big piece of fabric that's covering it over. So you're not working with little pieces that you're trying to manage. I'm going to take my pine out and let's put in a different color that we can see. How about I go with pink lemonade? Where's my pink lemonade? We'll be able to see pink lemonade really well. Pink lemonade. And I'm going to smooth the fabric as we go. And I'm not cutting this at all. I'm just hanging it over the front. And here we go. You don't want the fabric to kind of get pushed. So I'm just going to kind of smooth it with my hands as I go. It's going to go up the other side. Isn't that nice? Because sometimes the fabric gets pushed and pulled and then it's not laying flat. Super easy. Easy peasy. Now it's going to tack down this side and then we're going to do the quilting stitch. We're done. We're going to take the fabric, move it up. Now, if you want, you could do the 10-inch size. Like if you do the 10-inch size, you're going to have more room hooping top and bottom. Like you're not going to be scooted all the way to the edge, which could be nice. But I'm going to use my projector to do the next hooping. There we go. And now I'm going to put in my basil and we'll do the quilting stitch. I'm going to do this whole, I don't even know how much I need, but I'll just do the whole length, right? We'll just do the whole length. If we have extra, we can put it in the back. Okay, basil. So go ahead and put in your basil. I think that's the color it calls for. Let me make sure. Let me look at that one more time. Where's my bookie book? Here you go. It wants that with the line through it, and that one is dark. Oh, you know what? It's not basil. Dark green is going to be totem. Okay, not basil. Take that out. Totem. Which I didn't have. So let me go and grab that. I did bring it home this time. Remember, I had forgotten. Totem. Or you could do like a brighter green, whichever one you want. Here we go. Here's our totem. Let's put this in. I'm going to have to change that on the spreadsheet. I didn't know which green was which when I was first doing the list. All right, and this is going to be 2 minutes of stitching, and then we're going to rehoop. Looks like it's about about an inch from the top and maybe 3/4 of an inch from the bottom. And if it gets puffy, don't worry about it. You're going to press it. Everything presses so beautifully when you use muslin. While it's doing this, you can go ahead and heat up your iron and we can press out those blocks. 2 minutes for this one, and then I'll be 2 minutes for the next one. So let's take advantage of our time. I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna cut this. This is where you're fussy cutting to the outer line, but you only need, I'd say maybe a 1/4 of an inch away from that. 1/2 an inch, 1/4 of an inch. I'm gonna go ahead and, usually I like to leave one on, but I'm gonna cut it off because I'm gonna press it out. Okay, finished one side, now it's stitching the other side. I'm gonna leave these clips out. I like to press this with a little bit of moisture. So usually just water. You want these to lay flat. I don't know if you can see, but they're pretty ripply right now. And it's a lot of stitching. So, and when we go to sew them together, let me see. Oh yeah, it's just gonna be the Quilty Little Christmas on top of this block right here. So let's go ahead and press these out. And don't worry if they're ripply. Flat. You want it to lay flat. Looks good. You can always go ahead and trim. Look, no jump threads. Depending on your machine. It was a little. And you can press from the front side too, if you want. All right, that one looks great. Let's do this one. There we go. And then we'll trim these out. All right, guess what? We are done with the quilting on the first set. Let's go ahead and do the second set. The design's gonna be exactly the same. So I'm gonna go ahead and say okay. And I'm gonna turn on the projector because that's what I'm gonna use right now. Hang on just a second. Let me fix my filming arm. Okay. You have to be at stitch 0 to use your projector. And not all machines have them. So this is, as far as I know, the only machines that have them are the Solaris and the Luminaire. And the Avanair and I can't remember the Radiance. I'm sure they're going to have the projector. And the projector, I think, is bigger. I think it's like 8.5 by 5 inches or something. So it's going to be much larger. That button right there is your projector button. Don't be scared to use it. So you're going to go ahead, turn on the projector, and what we want to do is we want to move the projector up here so we can match it. So, projector is, and look, you can't even see mine right now. You can change the colors of the background. So right now the background is black. Now it is the gray one, and now it's the white. And to me, the white one is the one that's going to show the most. You move the projector with your finger. So when I say that, your finger on the screen. So I'm going to move that. Here, you'll see me moving it with, and you can see it move on my fabric. So I'm going to move it all the way to the top because that's what I want to see, is the very top. Okay, I'm going to unhoop. I'm leaving my bottom hoop on. I'm just going to move those. I'm going to take this off. Why is this? Maybe it's too heavy. There we go. I'm going to unhoop right here, and I'm going to watch all my fabric, make sure nothing gets turned under. Take off all my magnets. If you haven't gotten one of these hoops yet, consider getting one. You could start with a 5x7 and reach out to me if you still want to get one, because I did order extra. And everyone I know who's gotten it have just loved them. They're so great. I don't know what it is. They're just like so nice. Okay, I'm going to scoot this up. And we want to take this fabric and we're going to fold it to the back because we have to do our placement line. So the fabric and the batting get pulled to the back. That gets pulled to the back and that gets pulled to the back. And we're going to scoot it up. And we're going to line it up. There we go, right there. And then we'll put our magnets on. I think right there and right there. Looks good, right? I'll put this one on first. Oops, you guys didn't even see that. Okay, here. So I scooted it up. And there's the very top of the design. I'm going to line it up with the very end of the quilting. Right there. And I am going to put my magnets on right here on the top right first, because this fabric's in the way. And you can like move things around once we get it there too. Okay. Oh, I think it needs to go up a little bit more. And I think it needs to go over a little bit to the right. Sorry. Okay, there we go. I think that'll be good. All right, so I have like maybe 1/8 of an inch above. I'm going to put the rest of my magnets on. Here, watch me put my magnets on. Okay, and I just put that one on. Okay, I think we're good. And if I need to move it a little bit, I can move it a little bit. But we're going to do our placement line first. What do you think? I think it looks good. All right, placement line. So now that we have it placed, I'm going to go ahead and say okay. I'm going to go here where I can go forward and backward stitches. And first thing we're going to do is going to be the placement line. So I'm going to go ahead and start, and I want to pull this kind of out of the way. What you don't want it to do is you don't want it to stitch down that fold. And you might have to adjust it a couple of times. It might not be perfect the first time. Or the second time. going to spray some more batting. So my 1-inch pieces in my spray tent. Okay. Let me go ahead and these I sprayed before, but I don't think they're sticky anymore. Are they? Maybe a little bit. And this one right here, lay it down this direction. And these I'm not even worried about. I just want them to abut. And I don't want them to like really move around though. So I'm going to give it a good little shot of spray. This is probably a big no-no, but this is what I do because it's going to get stitched down, right? I'm going to put my hand here and just kind of spray this because my fabric's already down. And I'm going to lay this down on top of this. All right. And we're ready. Okay. Now we're going to do we're going to skip steps. We're going to skip the batting. We're skipping the batting tack down and we're skipping the background placement. We want to do this, which is so I'm going to touch in here. It's still turquoise. So I just touched somewhere in there and I want it to be that orange. So there we go. That is our background tack down. That's what we're going to get started with. And let's go ahead and here we go. And I'm off probably about 1/8 of an inch, but I'm not worried about it. It'll be fine. And that quilting stitch will keep your batting pieces together. This isn't, for me, it's decorative. So if you want to sew your batting pieces together or have it all in one piece, I totally get it. I'm just abutting them. This is just going to be something I hang up. All right, and now we're going to do the quilting stitch. Just go ahead and hit start and let it quilt. each side, let's say it's 15 inches. So we need 30 inches of this. Yeah, I think we can just do one more hooping and then we should be good. Because we have one more hooping. Each of these is 12, 24, 36. All right, let's rehoop. I'm gonna say okay on my screen. I'm gonna take out all my magnets. We're gonna do one more hooping, should be enough because they're 12 inches a piece, and that'll give us 36 inches. And we need, I think, more like each side is 14.5 inches. So I think we should be fine. And don't forget, like I am off like about 1/8 of an inch. I'm not worried about it. Fabric is pliable. It's moldable. You can move it. All right, here we go. Next hooping. So I'm going to go ahead and slide my hoop on. I'm going to turn on my projector. Not in this screen. To get out of this screen, you're just going to say okay. We're back to stitch 0. So now we can turn on our projector. It's the little dunce cap. And remember, you move your dunce cap with your finger. So it's always going to come in the middle of your page. You're not seeing this, but I have my finger on the red box on the screen and I'm moving it up. There we go. Now I'm going to take the fabric, scoot it up. I'm going to take this and just fold both of these to the back. Fold these to the back and out of the way, and you are lining up the top of the design with the edge here. We're going to put it up about 1/8 of an inch above, just like that. Can you see that? And now we're going to put our magnets on. I know it's easier said than done, but you're going to put the magnets on. Let's see. Just get that kind of as close to where it should be as possible. The left side. Let's get that lined up. And put this magnet on right up here first. Little one. And then I'll put this one here on the left. Here. Put this one. One down here on the bottom. Over here, down this corner. I'm gonna put this over here. And then one more up at the very top. I'm just going to kind of lift this up and tuck them underneath. Okay. And I think that looks pretty good. Here, you can see the matchup up here. Looks pretty good. All right, we're ready to start stitching. So I'm going to say okay. I'm going to go to this button where I can go forward and backward stitches. There's my placement stitch. We're already color grouped and ready to go. I'm going to say okay. And I'm going to reach back here and kind of pull this back a little bit. You don't want it to stitch that fold. Okay, so the fold has to be out of the way. I'd rather have it be too high than too low where you stitch on the fold. Not bad. So this is what you would do as well if you had a bigger piece that you wanted to keep all in one piece and not cut those strips down beforehand. Because the strips, I think it wanted you to cut them, what, 1.5 or something like that. This is pretty close. Make sure you pull it up out of the way. There we go. Get ready to pull that fabric up and out of the way. All right, we're ready to spray the batting and lay it down. I think my pieces might be big enough. I might just give it like a little shot of spray here. If you're spraying in the hoop, make sure you're not going crazy and make sure you're not getting it everywhere. If you are heavy-handed with your spray, please don't do this. You can just lay it down with a glue stick or something like that. Okay, and batting straight down. What is this caught on? Here we go. Get rid of those threads on top. This is like from my dirty stash. Okay, and then we're going to take this one, lay this one down too. Are you seeing this? I think you are. All right, now we're going to take our fabric and lay our fabric down. And just take a look, you can just take a little bit of, I don't know, like Totally Amazing or something if you get a little bit of spray on your hoop or on your magnets. I'm going to put my other hand underneath, smooth it down. All right, we're ready. Let's do our tack down. We're going to skip steps. We don't need the batting tack down. We don't need the background placement. We need the background tack down. So I'm going to touch here in my turquoise, but I'm looking here. It's still in the turquoise. I'm going to go to the next color. There's my orange. That's my tack down. That's what I need. You can hit the arrows too, just the arrows that fast forward. Oh my God, this one was perfect. Don't you, when you nail it, aren't you like, that's right, nailed it? Because I don't always nail it. But when I do, it feels so good. You're like, I'm a pro. And while it's doing that, I'm going to go ahead and cut out the other ones. So let me get my pop rulers, my rotating mat. Looks like everything looks good. Nothing's getting folded under. Gotta watch out for that. Okay, just go ahead and hit start. Put in your totem green and hit your start button. Mine's already in there. Trim these out. So I'm going to come on over here. Whoops! Here we go. Grab my greens that fell on the floor. My spray can. All right, here we go. This one I think is 6 by 8. I think there's a 6.5 by 6.5, and I think the other one is 6 by 8. These fit in here just right. Too big. This one right here. I think those are the two we need. Make sure you don't have them stacked. I don't know if you've ever done it. I have cut through 2 blocks at once. Haste makes waste. I'm going to look down from the top. Just make sure I'm as close to being around the edge as possible. That looks good. Can we look at it from this direction too? All right, and it's not on that line because when you stitch, the fabric just starts to pull in a little bit. So start in one corner, spread your hands out, hold it as you turn, push in, take your time. And I always have like a thread that it doesn't catch, that I don't cut. There we go. Looks gorgeous. Let's do the next block. Check your border, make sure nothing's going awry over there. Mine looks absolutely gorgeous. And here we go. Look at it from above. Sorry, here's my big head. And then swing it and look at it from the sides too. And you're just trying to get it so it looks as good as possible. It's not going to be perfect. I'm trying to look here and make sure that that's even. Do you have a little? You see my little? Some people will layer these too. And that looks good, this edge. All right, I think we're good. Okay, let's trim. Make sure you're giving a little pressure to the left side so you don't cut to the right. And if you're if you're left-handed, it's going to be the opposite direction that I'm talking about, right? Adorable. And then this is going to get sewn together with this. And I can't remember. I think it goes like that. Does it? Let's look at our instructions. I was looking at sending holiday wishes because I want to start stitching that. Yes, this is going to go. So you're going to stitch that down. And then these are going to go on the sides, snowflakes up. It's going to look like that. And then we're going to put on the borders and the binding. And it is, I mean, is that so cute or what? It's just adorable. Okay, I'm going to put these to the side. Let's go ahead and press. We're going to press our border pieces now. I'm going to put away my pop rulers. Zippy Bags is coming out with a new panel collection. New Zippy Bags. I think it's going to come out in October. Let me go ahead. All right. And this is all you need. So each side I think is about 14.5 inches. So you need this to go over 2 sides and the other one to go over the 2 sides. So we are good. I'm going to go ahead and take up the magnets. So sometimes it's nice to use a nice big piece because now we have all of the muslin that goes to the right that we can use. We didn't have to like sacrifice a piece where we just stitched right down the middle. So you have options. You are not limited. Options. You got options. I'm going to flip this over from the back side. We're going to spray it, and then we'll just press it. And then we'll trim it. Today's a day of doing, right? All right, let's trim them. All righty. We can use this again. And it's going to be 1/8 of an inch on either side of the tack down line. So let me grab my little itty bitty ruler. I ordered some more rulers. You never have enough, right? Because I wanted some like longer, skinnier ones. So 1/8 of an inch on either side, which means you'll have each strip is going to be 1.5 inches. Okay. So what I like to do is I'm going to go ahead and cut all the way up on one side, and then we'll come down the other side. I'm going to start down here at the bottom. And I'm dragging all this fabric around, which I don't want to do too. So I'm going to go ahead and let's cut it right here. I'm going to cut up this side. And then I won't have all this fabric to manage. Okay. Sorry, I can't see. It's hard seeing the dark color through. And I'm just going to keep adjusting my ruler so that I'm going to line it up with that. I'm just going to keep adjusting it so that I'm 1/8 of an inch from this stitch, the tack down. You're going to be 1/8 of an inch outside of that tack down stitch. And just keep moving your ruler. And then if your edges aren't totally, your joins aren't totally straight like that one was, just adjust your ruler as you get to that join. And just make it as straight as possible. And it doesn't have to be perfect, and it's going to look gorgeous when you stitch it on. So don't worry about it. Sometimes you have to be okay with good enough. Perfect might drive you crazy. Okay. Now I'm going to go ahead and go down the other side. And now I'm just going to use my 1.5 and just go to that edge. And if I'm not totally straight on the other edge, I'm fine. But I want this strip to be 1.5 inches. And I'm just keeping my eye over here and making sure that 1.5 mark is on that edge of the fabric. And my fabric just might not be laying totally straight. I'm okay with it. I'm just going to keep on adjusting my ruler. Okay, so this strip is done. 1.5 inch strip with this amazing, adorable quilting stitch. All right, now we're going to do this one. Same thing. And I'm just going, my tack down on this part is pink. So I'm just making sure I'm stitching 1/8 of an inch outside that pink line. And here's my join. And now it's hard for me to see that green. But there we go. Okay. Okay. And now you're just going to measure 1.5 inches over. Don't worry about measuring from this line. We're just going to go 1.5 inches over from this edge here. And it'll probably be about 1/8 of an inch from that tack down stitch. And I could take my piece and probably like lay it out and straighten it and put it on the line. But I find it easier to just kind of nudge my ruler a little bit left or right if I need to get that 1.5 inch strip. And we are done with that. So now I'm going to go ahead, since I am done with the embroidery, I'm going to convert my embroidery machine over to, let's convert it to sewing, and we'll finish the rest of our piecing on here. I have not decided how I'm going to do my back, right? Because we have all those scraps. I want to use them up. But we'll piece this for now. So we'll stitch those two together. Let me get my hoop out of the way. My pop ruler's out of the way. And we're going to convert over to, if I can find my walking foot. There it is. I see it. I see it. I see it. Okay. I'm going to say okay to get out of this screen. I'm going to touch my home button. Okay to cancel. And I'm going to go sewing. I'm going to piece at, we'll go down to, I'm going to use the stitch 103, which is a center straight stitch. It'll be 1/4 inch with my 1/4 inch sole. I'm going to go down to 2.0. And let's go ahead and attach our walking foot. I love the walking foot. I'm going to put my foot up. This should never be loose enough for you to undo by hand, this screw right here. If it is, then it's going to shake off while you're doing your embroidery. So go ahead and take off your embroidery foot. Your walking foot, it just goes right over that screw. It's so easy to put on. Just right here over that screw from the back. I already have my 1/4 inch sole on here. Hand tighten. And then you're going to take your screwdriver. When the walking foot's on, it has to go on a little bit at an angle. And there, you got to wait for it to catch. And I don't know if you saw me roll it forward, but it was literally like that. plug it into the back or else it doesn't work. And we're going to sew these two together. There is no top or bottom with this one, so just sew it together. I'm just going to match up my edges. I like to sometimes take a stitch, like start here so it doesn't push this top, and then back stitch and then go forward. I'm going to put in my Deco Bob Dove, my favorite. This is what I piece with most of the time. Deco Bob is an 80 weight cottonized polyester, and it's the best. And at this point, I have a really tough time just piecing with like Aerofill or confetti or any of those because I feel like it's bulky. And I like it so nice and flat. All right, I'm going to start right here. And I'm going to back stitch. I am going to back stitch. And I'm going to take my time. And I'm watching my edge next to the flange on my sole. And I'm hoping everything will be lined up really nicely. Let's take a peek and make sure it's not too far off. And that looks good, right? Looks great. Okay, we'll press that open. Let's go ahead and press that open, and then we're going to sew the center panel. Squeaky arms. Oops. Hang on, sorry. Clapper. Best press. I'm just going to press it. Sometimes I will. Ooh, relax stitch. Give it a little bit of heat just to get it relaxed. And then I'm going to open up the seam. And I say press these seams open or else they're too bulky. There's just too much going on with those seams. So I'm going to press it open. And I'm going to best press it and press it open. And then I'm going to clapper it. Okay, we are going to sew these on. And if there's a seam that needs to be matched up, we are going to match it. And oh my goodness, did they really gift us that? They made it so you don't have to match any seams. So we're just going to go ahead and sew them together. There's more seams here, so I'm going to sew from this side. Ooh, okay. This is smaller, so I'm going to sew actually from this side. Just a little bit. But I am going to match those seams on the, I'll watch for those seams on this side to just make sure it doesn't get pushed as I'm sewing it down. And let's make sure we have it the right way. I don't think it'll really make a difference. But if you look at the picture, it wants the little plaid block here. So that is not the one we want to put there. We want to sew it on like this. And that is stinking cute. So I'm going to go ahead and sew this side on first, and then we'll do the other side. So let's come on over to the machine. We are almost done. I do layer it with another piece of batting when I layer and stitch in the ditch. And I do so with monopoly, and I'm going to just do it all now because if I don't, I'm going to have another UFO, and I refuse to have another UFO. Okay, so I'm going to start sewing a little bit. Okay, let's check it. Make sure everything looks good. Oh my goodness. It looks so perfect, doesn't it? All right, we're going to sew the other side on and then I'll press everything. And then I might pause the recording so that I can, I'm going to do some piecing for the back. I'll take the big pieces and sew them all together. Okay, here we go. Oop, my back got stuck. Caused me to do a little bobble there. You want, you can do a little back stitch right there so the seam doesn't come undone. And let's go press it. Let's look it over. Oh my goodness, I don't think it could be any more beautiful than it is. This is so cute. Let's come on over. And then we're going to put our borders on. Okay, let's give this a little press to relax our stitch. Relax. Relax. Everything is okay. And I'll do this side too. I can't wait to put the border on. The border is going to make it look so cute. And we know how we're supposed to put the border on. You're supposed to measure. But I always sew it on. And I cut off the excess. I'm not going to let you watch me do it because I'm going to do it the way I want to do it and not the right way, which Michelle's going to talk about. She's going to tell you the right way to do it. So this is kind of like a mini quilt, right? So cute. Does that look just so sweet? Okay, I'm going to do this side next. Oh, it's thick right there. So now what it wants you to do is it wants, I'm going to do it like this. Measure your length. Measure your quilt lengthwise through the center as illustrated and trim 1.5 by width of strip into 2 equal strips. Oh my goodness. Am I going to have enough? Uh-oh. Yes, we have plenty. Plenty. Measure lengthwise. So from top to bottom. $14.5 inches is what I'm getting. 14.5 inches. Now it wants you to trim 1.5 inch by width of fabric into two strips equal to the length of the quilt. So I need two pieces that are going to be 14.5 inches. All right, let's do that. Fourteen and a half inches. We're going to go. I'm going to cut this end off. And I'm going to cut this end off. And then we'll have okay. Then we want 14.5 inches for this. 14.5 inches. Right there. Now I need another one, 14.5 inches. I'm lining it up. Do you guys see that? Oop. Oop. That's not 14.5, is it? Oh yeah, it is. For a second, it didn't look it. This is the first time I've measured that and then done it. Okay, we're going to sew these onto the sides first. So we're going to sew one on here, and we're going to sew the other one on here. All right, let's do that first. Here we go. Oh my God, it's looking so cute. Squeaky on, squeaky on. Okay, so we'll go ahead and press that one down. And then let's put the other one on. And let's see, should we have it on a particular way? Hearts to the top. But I'm going to sew it on this way. And okay, let's go ahead and press this, and then we're going to put the other pieces on. Press seams towards the border. So we're going to just press the seams up towards the border. Be mindful of when you're keeping it down on the thread. Oop. Okay. Cute. All right. This I'm just going to cut right in half, because this is what we have left. And or does, you know what? No, we're not going to do that. We're going to measure it like you're supposed to. So we're going to measure the center from left to right, and that's the size we're going to cut it. $16.5. So we're going to cut these 16.5 inches. Okay, you ready? Don't stretch it. $16.5. Okay, let's do the next one. Next piece. All right, we're going to sew these down to the top and bottom. I was going to give it a little back stitch, but I already went off. And there we go with that one. Very cute. Now let's go ahead and sew this one on down here. I'm going to go a little over the edge. There we go. Make sure this... All right. Let's go ahead and press this open. It looks so cute. Do you love it? I'm telling you, I love it. And again, be mindful of the thread when you're pressing this. Okay, I am going to, this is so cute. I'm going to go ahead and piece it back, and then I will layer with batting, and then we'll go ahead and stitch in the ditch and sew on our binding. I will be right back. Okay, so I've gone ahead. It probably took me about half an hour, but I pieced together this scrappy back, and this is just, leftover fabric. So I'm going to go ahead and sandwich this. And I usually make it a little bit bigger, but, this is such a small piece. So I'm going to sandwich a piece of course, I'm going to flip it over like this. I'm going to sandwich a piece of batting between it. And then I'm going to stitch in the ditch. And I was just trying to think of how I was going to stitch in the ditch. And I think what I'm going to do is start here and go up and over and up and over and over, down, up, over, down, and like that. And, or, you know what, I'll probably go around, down, around, and up. I'll figure it out. But for now, I'm going to get some batting. I'm going to sandwich it, and then I'll be over at the machine. I will spray baste everything. And then I'm going to go to the machine with some monopoly, and I'm going to stitch in the ditch. And then we'll trim it up and put our binding on. Before I do all of that though, before I layer it and put it all together, I am going to sew on my button with my button fitting foot. So let's talk about this foot. This is what comes with the Brother and the Baby lock machines. Has this metal part right here. And what you do is you take your button, you put it in between the white part and the metal part, and you want to get those holes. These are pretty far apart. This is kind of reaching the limit. And we're going to set up our machine to do a zigzag. It might not work, but we're going to try it because I don't like sewing buttons on by hand. So let's go to the machine. We need to put the regular ankle back on. You cannot do this with the walking foot. Or, I mean, you might be able to. You could decrease your foot pressure, set it up so there is no stitch length, and that way just do a zigzag back and forth in place. But I don't know if I would totally trust that. So here is the regular ankle, your presser foot ankle. I'm going to go ahead and take this foot off. Remember, again, it should never be loose enough for you to undo by hand. Put that over here. The only time I use my regular presser foot is when I'm using a specialty foot like this that doesn't fit onto my walking foot. Other than that, I use pretty much my walking foot. So this foot is going to come off. I am going to put this one on. And, okay, you have another part right here. So do you see this? It brings down this, do you see that little plastic piece there? Right where the dots are? See that? And when you push it down, it creates a shank. So if you want to, if you've ever hand sewn a button down and sewn it down super tight, and then it's hard to get into the buttonhole, it's because you need to create like a little shank where it's not sewn down so tight. On this one, I wanted to go ahead and sew it down tight, so I'm going to just pull that back. I want it because it's not, I'm not doing anything special with it. All right, you're going to go to your buttonholes. So right here on my machine, folder for my buttonholes, and if you look down here, 423, that is for sewing your button on. It's going to show you the M foot. You never want to just start sewing. We're going to put this on, and we're still going to do some adjustments. Okay, and I'm going to move that so, and honestly, this is at its limit. I don't even know if we're going to be able to do this. There we go. I'm going to make my width as wide as I can make it. So right here is my width. Right now it's 3.5 millimeters, and I'm going to bump it. Oh, it will only go 4.5. I don't know if that's going to work. I am going to hand draw my, we're going to put this under here too. Where's it supposed to go? Right here, right? Yes, right there. Oh my God, so cute. I'm rolling my hand wheel. Ooh, look. I don't know. I'm rolling my hand wheel. I'm going to roll it into the other hole. Oh, I think we've got it. So I always hand do this. I do this by hand. And I still don't trust that it's working. I'm still hand rolling. I'm taking my hand wheel. And now I'm going to go ahead and wants me to put my foot down. I still don't trust it. I'm still scared. I'm scared. Okay, I'm going to roll it again. Okay, I think we got it. Oh, God. Oh, it's scary. It is so wide. You don't have a lot of room there. And it's going to do a locking stitch. And then what I like to do, because I don't trust it, is I do it one more time. So I'm going to step on the foot control. And I probably should have used a different color, but that's okay. And now it's going to do a locking stitch. And I'm going to hit my cut button. And you bring it forward, and that is sewn down. And that's kind of, I call it factory style. Because it's not like I would do a garment and I would do it like that. I would take my threads, I would cut them long, I would put it on a needle, put it to the back, and I would tie it in a knot on the back. But if you're just doing something like this, I just do it twice. That's how you use this foot. I know it's kind of scary, but that was why. That was kind of at its limit. And so what I did was I selected stitch folder 4, stitch 23, width length of 4.5, and I hand rolled it with the hand wheel into the right and left, making sure the needle wasn't going to hit anything, and then I pressed the foot control. So, and even when it does go through and it doesn't hit anything, I still don't trust it. I'm like, is it really going to work? Is that so cute? Now we're ready to layer. I'll be right back. Okay, so I'm layered and I'm spray basted, and I think everything's pretty even. So here's the back, and I just use June Taylor's spray baste. I also use Sullivan's quilt spray basting, and it looks good. I think I am ready to go. So let's go ahead and take it over the machine. We're going to stitch in the ditch. Okay, I am going to take off this ankle, and I never really just leave it like this. I always clip a foot onto it. I don't know why. Because then I look at it and go, oh, there's my ankle, instead of it just looking like this. So anyhow, I'm going to clip that on there. I am going to put my walking foot back on, and now we're going to use the stitch in the ditch. I don't always put in when I'm using monopoly, I don't always put in a monopoly bobbin. I actually rarely put in a monopoly bobbin. I just will use a regular bobbin. I feel like this machine is just so great that, where is it? Am I there? I can't feel this screw. There we go. Okay. And I'm going to take this sole off, and I'm going to put this one on. Your stitch in the ditch. So you have your flange, and that flange is going to make you feel like you are a stitch in the ditch pro. I do use monopoly in the top, and because there's so much white on here, I'm going to use smoke. I'm sorry, what am I talking about? I'm going to use clear. So if it was dark, then I would use smoke, which is kind of like a gray. But I use the clear when it's light colors. And what the monopoly does is it allows you to come in and out of the ditch without... This isn't monopoly, is it? Oh, yeah, it is. I was like, wait, it looks like white thread, but no, it's monopoly. All right. Monopoly. Oh, you know what? This is a matte white. It's like, wait a minute. Hang on. Oh, guess what? So my Deco Bob white was sitting behind my monopoly, and so I grabbed that thing, and it looks so white, but it looked like it was coming off of this. Here is my monopoly, and I buy like a big cone of it, and it looks more like fishing line. And is it going to thread? Yeah, it might. It might not too. I always give it a go though with the automatic threader, because I'm lazy. And most of the time it works with my automatic threader. That was really confusing because, there we go, worked perfectly. It was really confusing because it looked like white, and it was white, my Deco Bob spool. All right, here we go. And sometimes what I do is I'm going to take my stitch length, and I'm going to go up to a 2.5 or 3. So I'm going to go back to my main folder, straight center stitch. It will automatically go 2.5. I'll just leave it there. And I'm going to hand roll. I do hand roll sometimes. My needle down into my fabric. And I feel like I need to go one stitch to the right. So you have LR shift. With control, if it lets you move it, is 0.5. LR shift is 0.25 of a millimeter. So up will go to the right, down will go to the left. I want to go to the right. There we go. And your needle might not be like totally perfect behind that flange. Yeah, there we go. Okay, You just keep your eye on this flange and make sure, and oh, am I going one stitch over? I think I am going one stitch over. I'm going to go back the other direction. So now I'm just at 3.5, which is center. And you just keep your eye on that flange. Make sure the flange stays bedded down in that seam. And can you see how perfectly my needle is right behind it? And it'll be just bedded right down in there. Now what's great is that monopoly, if you do go to the right or to the left, you're not going to see it coming out of the ditch like you will with like a heavy thread. Like the first time I ever, I'm going to go one more stitch. First time I ever did stitch in the ditch was, my needle didn't pop. I mean, hang on. I'm going to put my foot up, put my auto pivot on, and here we go again. I was in and out. I think I was doing it just by eye. I didn't have a stitch in the ditch foot. And you could just see the thread riding up on whatever side. I mean, it's magical when it's in the ditch, when it's in your seam, but it doesn't look good when it's up and over on either side. Okay. And I find when I don't spray baste, every once in a while I'm super lazy, I regret it. I regret it because I get like puckering in the back. You don't have to be a speed demon either. And I gently give my fabric like a little bit of a spread. Okay, here we go. I can't remember if I did this side or not. Nope. Okay, whoops, one more stitch. There we go. Your eye stays on that flange. Make sure that flange, and this is what I'm talking about when I say that flange, make sure that flange stays bedded down in that seam, and the needle should just follow as long as you check it in the beginning. Whoop, did you see that? I was like going off the rails. Okay, I think we started here. Yes, we did. Okay, I think what I'm going to do is I am going to go down, over, down, over, down, over. Should I do that? Down, over. Oh my God, looks so good, doesn't it? So perfect. Yeah, I'll go down, over, down, over, down, over. Down, over, down, over, down, over, down, over, up, up, over, up, over, up, over. And then we'll take a look and see what we want to do. But I am not like a stickler for it being perfect, okay? So I just want my layers to stay together. And I don't have to go over every single seam. You can tap that foot control to have it go just one more stitch. Oh my God, like magic. You can program your foot control, well, depending on the foot control that you have, to do like one stitch, because sometimes that's all you need is just one more stitch. Here we go. We're going back over this stitch again, but okay, again, self-taught. I'm sure there is Michelle Burrett is going to train us on how to properly stitch in the ditch. Whoop. Okay, I can go down, over, down, here, and up. That's what we're going to do. There, sorry, had to get in there. I'm not quite in that ditch. There I am. Okay, we're going to go all the way up now. So, kind of just going back and forth. Light fingers, light hands. Let the feed dogs do the work for you. And the foot. There we go. This way. And honestly, I'm sure there is a correct way of doing this, but this is just how I do it. And I just go ahead and kind of figure out my path, and then I just go for it. I need one more stitch. One more. And here we go, down. I'm just looking at the flange, making sure it's staying in the seam, and then I peek to the back every once in a while, and I go, oh my God, that is amazing. I can't even believe that I'm that great at stitching in the ditch. But it's not me, it's the foot. And then you go, oh my God, I came out of the ditch. Whoops. But that's okay because, oh, you know what? I kind of want to go back. I'm going to go back here and I'm going to go up. Let me see. I don't need to go all the way down there. And who's going to be looking? Okay, I'm going to go this way. One more stitch. Okay. Here we go. And I'm just going to come here to the middle and I'm going to end it right there because I'm just going to be sewing over stitches. I have a locking stitch. I'm going to do this one right here. That's lock in place. Okay, let's trim and then we're going to put our binding on. And here's the back. Looks good, right? Good enough. Love it. Let's trim. It looks so fantastic. I'm literally just going to take this and trim it down. And one last cut. And then we're done. Wouldn't that be nice if we were done? Because guess what? I don't love putting binding on. Here's the back. Looks super, super cute. And here is the front. And I don't even know what binding we have. So let me go and find it. Oh my goodness, I love striped binding. I just love it. And guess what? You're not going to see me put this on. I will do it later. Patrick and I are going to run to the store right now. So I'm going to pause the video right now and I'll come back. I think it says 2.5. I like 2 1/4. So I'll be cutting my strips down. Really? This is, hang on. 2 and... Is this my piece? This looks way too small. Way too small width of fabric. Maybe this isn't my fabric. So I'll have to find it because I should have something where I'm cutting it down to 2 1/4. We had 1/4 yard. So I will find that. I'll cut it down and then I'm going to attach it. But this is looking pretty darn cute. And I got to say, I love that heart. Thanks for joining me. You may or may not see the binding video, but you will see this finished in the store on Tuesday. Bye, guys.